Welcome to Ngosti Talk Shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled within.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
The time has come to break away from the pain and experience the unthinkable. Kamal, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you, Namsa. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may be in this wonderful world. My name is Kamal Amer. I am a NLP trainer, master practitioner, hypnotherapist, and a certified life purpose specialist. I find joy and happiness in helping people uncover their purposes in life by using ancient Egyptian methodologies and NLP. We do all that together. We create a path road, and we work as a team, collaborating and creating your life the way that you are meant to live it, a successful, harmonious, and balanced, purposeful life. Thank you. You're muted, Nomsa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kamal. So today our topic is failure versus success versus failure, the relationship between success and failure. Kamal, would you like to explain the topic to our audience, or do you want me to explain it?
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go for it.
So you go ahead and explain it.
You go for it.
All right. Failure and success. If we look at it from a definition perspective, failure is having unwanted results, and success is having wanted results. Simple explanation. We all define failure and success very differently, and they both have an impact in our life. I think that's what I can offer for now. I want to hear what you have to say, Nomsa, and then we can dig a little bit deeper.
Relationship between success and failure. For me, I love success, and I love the word failure as well, because with failure, I learn from that failure, and it helps me to grow. And it helps me to achieve my goals. If I fail doing something, it doesn't mean that I have to stay down. I just have to learn what went wrong, what I didn't do right, and then rewrite my goals and think about success, and success. Anything else becomes secondary to me in front of my goals. I don't think about failure. If I fail, sometimes people, when you fail, they say, I told you so. But if I fail, I just look at it, I just smile and say, I'm grateful that I took that opportunity and do the most important thing. That where I need to go is to do the work, continue to do what I need to do.
I like your definition. It's very neat. I was very verbatim. But there's a reason behind it. You know, I always have reasons when I say things. You see, there's that correlation between the failure and success is very important, because one of the biggest fears of people is failing in life.
Yeah.
However, the pleasure that comes out of a failure that leads to a success, it's much more interesting than just succeeding. Now, if we were to succeed the first time at everything, I don't think there would be any pleasure in it. I don't think there would be any learning experiences. It would be just a constant, I've already made that, so I can do this again. You know, it becomes a sense of arrogance in my perspective. Failing, on the other hand, remember, I've said it several times, but fail, first attempt in learning. Now, again, this is why I don't define it as losing or failing. It is a start to what you want to achieve. It is the beginning. It is the essence. It is the your first step. Indeed, sometimes we must run before we can walk. Yes, I agree. And we might stumble and fall. And you get up and you run again. And that's the same thing. Failure, or that first attempt in learning, teaches us. It allows us to have a broader perspective. It allows more possibilities and into our life and options. Failure is a necessity in our life. Failure allows us to grow. Failure brings out of us the best. Failure is the foundation to success, in my opinion. And so success becomes the enjoyment of having done something or having had results and outcomes the way that you've wanted them. And it can be expressed in various areas. Success can be having a healthy family. Success can be being able to practice sports whenever you want to, being able to read, write, tell stories, share interests, share ideas. All of that is success for each and every person that defines it in that way. Success, of course, comes in the hobbies that we partake in. They are part of our everyday life. They are part of our growth as well. And you, for instance, from a relationship coach and a specialist in that, in relationship, a successful relationship is a relationship where people know how to communicate with each other, where when they are angry with each other, they tell each other, we are angry, or I am angry, and I'm not talking to you for a bit. And then they go away, right? And then they come after a bit, and after that, it's solved. I was angry because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The other person would say, like, I understand, or it's okay to be angry. It didn't bother me. I believe I could have done a mistake, maybe not. Of course, as a man, I'm always wrong, obviously. No, but that's, you see, that's the idea of a successful relationship. That's the start of it. It's communication. It's managing to give more than to get back. I was watching something the other day about relationships and love, and a lot of people get into a relationship because they want to get out of it something. They want love in return. But the concept of love is actually giving and expecting nothing in return. Of course, that is the unconditional one, which is very rare to find in this world. Even mothers and fathers, they have conditioned their love for their children as full of love as it may be. As a father, yes, I love my children without anything. And yet there are certain things that are conditioned to receive that love in return. I know it because I'm only human. Now, if loving is about giving, then a relationship, a successful relationship, is about communication. Now, and I'm not talking only intimate relationship, I'm talking in general. Any relationship, whether it's an acquaintance, a person that you just met, a person that you've had in your life for a long time, a sibling, a parent, a family member, that relationship is based on the success of your communication. The success of your communication is based on your past failures. And that's again why I said failure is the foundation. to any success that we want in our life, I believe.
So true. That is so true. I agree with you, Kamal, when you talk about make an example about a relationship and the failure as well. That is something that we have to learn it in our everyday life. So for me, I see failure is success is born from the womb of failure. So you fail, but then, when a woman is carrying that child, when the child is born, they celebrate it, but through that pregnancy, they go to the hospital. There is some challenges. Sometimes there can be challenges in life, but when they are holding that baby, they don't care. They basically everything is get erased what they went through. So that is success to me. That's how I see success. So you erase everything that you went through your pregnancy, and when the doctor says it's a girl or it's a boy, the focus becomes on that journey. And then when the child is born and they are older, you start telling them the story. This is what went through when I was pregnant. You are telling them as a story of joy. So I think that's how I see failure as the mother, as the womb or the mother of success. Because in order for you, when you see successful people, we get to celebrate them, but we don't know what they have been through. Like you are saying about relationships, the relationship is all about the communications. And relationship is all about being honest, like what you were saying. When I'm angry, I let someone know that I'm not happy at this minute. I'm just going to walk away and calm down before I say things that I will regret. So before I go into personal development, I will keep things in. And when I'm talking about something, I'm discussing, communicating with my spouse with something, I just bring everything that happened last year, the things they didn't do, the birthday, they got it wrong. I bring it all in, I'll let it all in, because I had no knowledge of this was a failure. This was leading me to failure. So I just let it all out. But now I know that whatever happens now, I have to confront it and move on. It's how I communicate even with my family. I tell them the way it is, whether they want to take it or they don't want to take it, because the person that loves you the most is the one that wants to fix things. When somebody doesn't love you, they don't want to fix things. They don't have that knowledge to fix. They don't have the time. But when you love someone, you like, I want to fix things. I want to do this. I was talking to my mom the other day. I'm busy. Me and my mom are busy arranging to go to the wedding. My mom is going to the wedding, and I ring back again, and my brother saw a text to me communicating with my mom. Because my mom is my best friend. I can say anything that I want to say to my mom. So he got it wrong. And then after he got it wrong, and I'm sending messages, and my uncle says, "No, sir, you upset my sister." I was like, "I didn't upset your sister. I love your sister very, very much." And then I realized, like, what is he talking about? So I haven't got a clue what is he talking about. When I rang my mom, I was like, "Go to the wedding. You know, I love you very much." And then after I realized it's a misunderstanding, I was like, I'm not even gonna go to that misunderstanding. I need to continue loving. My brother realized it's a misunderstanding. I'm talking to my mom, we're laughing on the phone, and I'm like, "Come here, I need to talk to you." And he just goes, he laughs, and my mom says he's running. You know what he's doing? He's running away from you. So then I was like, "No, you don't need to run. I love you very much. I know it was a misunderstanding. You don't need to run." So he was like, "Okay, sis." And then he just walked away. So that is a failure. So you have to understand, like myself, I have to understand that no one is perfect. It's something that I've learned the hard way, Kamal, that no one is perfect. I'm not perfect either. So even when I make mistakes, I have to see that failure and celebrate it. And I don't know how you used to take a failure. Or sometimes before I go into personal development, I'll take it the wrong way. I'll just be too hard on myself and saying, why did I do this? But now when I do something, I just have to, whether it's success or it's a failure, I have to be grateful and say, I took action. That's what I have to be grateful of. Even with a relationship, when I'm working with when I'm matching my clients, I tell them that you got to understand sometimes I might get it wrong. And when I do get it wrong, let me know. If I'm not on call or somebody else is matching you and I don't know anything about it. So that's why they have to go through me, and I have to crucify myself to say, wherever there is problem, here's my mobile number. Before you can start writing reviews, make sure you've gone through me first so I can understand what is gone wrong and see if we can fix it together. Because I know there's always gonna be failure, whatever you do in life.
And that's important to know, right? It's like, excuse me. I'll bring into this picture a little bit of ancient Egyptian civilization here. Now, before they had the Great Pyramid of Giza, and the others as well, but the Great Pyramid of Giza, it used to be very flat and very shiny. Before they reached that stage, they had different stages of pyramids to build. They had to build different types. Now, at a certain time, they realized that, okay, so this is how we do that one. Now, there's one that's called, there's the bent pyramid, there's the red pyramid, there is the Saqqara pyramid. These are some of the most famous ones. And you can see it through the years that the shape has evolved and it reaches that stage where it is that perfect pyramid, right? Now, taking that, this is how we learn from life. If you do not understand that your failures are a way for you, a smarter way for you to become better, then you've failed at life, right? Now, when you were talking about getting everything into the conversation of a relationship, you get it all out, you express and you explain yourself completely so that there is no miscommunication, so that we can learn from that experience, so that we can understand that, okay, so you don't like that, I don't like that, you like this, I like that, let's combine it, let's see not even a compromise, let's see where it fits, right? So that we can have a successful relationship, a successful communication. Whatever it is that you are attempting to do, a business, being a parent, it is filled with failures. Nobody's a perfect parent, and those that come and tell you, oh, I am a guru in parenting, excuse me, shut up. There are billions of human beings in this on this planet, and each person that has had a child has raised their children in their own unique way. They have taken some advice from parents, from other people, but they have seen their own failures that nobody else can experience because we are so unique. And these experiences, these failures are the root of who we become. Right? How many times has any person tried to do something or was afraid of doing something? It's something that they really wanted, that they believe it is their calling, but they're just afraid of failure. And so they don't do it. They live the rest of their life regretting that they didn't take that chance. Now, people say the train only passes once, right? Or you missed your stop. I don't believe in that. The train is in constant route. It's there. It's moving. It's moving. It's moving. It will stop for you. You just have to dare. Dare to get on the wrong train. Dare to get on the wrong stop. Get off the wrong stop. Excuse me. Dare to do something that is outside of that realm of fear. Be afraid. Do it anyway. So what? You got off the wrong station. Wait a little bit, explore, find something to do, then get on another train, go to your correct station. It is never too late, but it becomes too late if you refuse to learn from these failures, from these mistakes, or not even that. Failure is a terrible word. If you refuse to accept these events in your life as seeds for you to grow, if you refuse to take these events as learning perspectives, if you refuse to accept that this is the way to success, you won't have any. I'm sorry, a lot of people, yes, have probably succeeded, but you find all of the most successful people around, businessmen, speakers, coaches, salespeople, whatever the job is, they have failed several times. They have gotten results they didn't want several times. And by persevering, by learning, by attempting something new, they have reached where they are today. Success isn't born overnight. It doesn't come like that. You can be successful overnight, yes, if you go play the stock market and you know what you're doing, fair enough. But even that requires a little bit of a sacrifice. Even that requires you to learn from something that you've done wrong, or somebody that has done something wrong or has had results they didn't want. So yes, definitely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kamal. I like it when you use the example of the children, that sometimes we parents, we're not perfect, we make mistakes. I always tell my children that whatever I'm teaching you guys, don't hold me accountable for it. When you guys are older, you start saying, I am who I am because of my mom, she didn't do this. So I always explain to them that whatever I'm doing, if you feel that you have to you have to actually challenge me, not by fighting, by saying, Mommy, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with your decision. And then we sit on the table, you explain to me why you don't agree with my decision. And then you send your message across. If it makes sense, then I might change my mind. So they are aware. So if they challenge me, they have to bring the case. My daughter knows that if she challenges me, she has to bring the case. She has to have a case. Sometimes she'll go, but Mommy, but, and then she'll go, you're not going to agree with me because what I want to say doesn't make sense anyway. So I'm just going to go with what you want me to do. So I will just do that. So she knows, they know that if they're not happy, or my youngest one, she's 5. If she's not happy, she just says it, I'm not happy. And I'm like, why? Because I didn't get a kiss, because I didn't do this, or I'm being ignored. Sometimes, when you're working on the computer, you get carried away. So and then a few hours later, she goes, because you are ignoring me. Remember, family, remember? So I'm like, okay. Then I know that I have to go out, because if I stay in the house, I'm going to be tempted to do something. I just say, let's go for a walk. So that is how we learn from mistakes as well. I always talk to other parents as well. I always, when I go out with my children, as friends, parents, sometimes we're communicating and they're like, my child cannot do this. So I'm like, how do you know your child is not capable of doing that? And they're like, because I know, I'm like, no, you don't. I'm like, I can't say my child, although that I know my child, I live with her, but I don't know. I can tell you now that I don't know the things that she's capable of, because that strength, it comes from within. It comes from her wanting to do it. So when she comes to me, she says, Mommy, I want to do this. So at first I have to find out, can I afford it? if the answer is yes, I can afford it, I ain't gonna talk her out of it. Or do I have time to drop her off to do those activities? Otherwise, my children know that they can go for the things as long as they have strength to do it. Or if they go and do it once and they say, oh, I don't like it, I have to find out exactly why they don't like what they say they don't like it. Is it because a friend has made a negative comment about it? Or is it because it's something, or they didn't do it right for the first time? Because when you do something for the first time, it can feel like a failure, like because you're not getting the results that you want. So I have to find out exactly what's going on. And then I have to say, you're gonna have to go back and do it a few times. If you're still getting the same feelings, then you know you don't want it. I did it with my daughter with the gymnastic. We went to gymnastic for a year, and I could see when she's dancing and gym, she didn't like it, but she liked it. Then I pull her out. I'm like, okay, I can see that you don't like gymnastics. So then we're gonna focus on dancing. Then in the minute I'm pulling her out, I'm doing what she wants. And then in the minute she goes, actually, I like gymnastics. So I was like, I told you so, because you're dancing, gymnastic and dancing is the same thing. You're doing the stretching, you're doing this. And I think she was challenging me because I made a decision to take her to say, let's go and try it. But that mind sticked to her, that I didn't make this decision, my mom did it. So I was like, okay, we're gonna stop it. And then after we stopped it, she wanted to do it. Luckily, at the dance school where she goes to, they do gymnastic as well at theater college. So that's how she was able to continue. So as a parent, when you say parents, they don't know anything, we don't know much, I'm just learning, Kamau. Sometimes there are things that I have to go online, to be honest with you. I can talk to my children and teach them psychology, and my daughter should be like, now you're manipulating me, do not use the psychology, let's talk like real people here. So that's fine, but I'm learning every day. Sometimes I hear, when you're hanging out with people, you hear you talking about your own kids. That's how we learn as well, how you are handling your kids. You're like, oh, I've never thought of that. So that's how I remember one day when I was talking to one of I think it was Legacy Wealth, to talk with someone talking about how they are handling the screen time, TV with the children. I was like, I've never thought of that. So I think I'm going to try it. So it does work. I've tried it. It does work. So we learn from each other.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, right? Like, I'll bring in a karate story here. Like Sensei Funakoshi, the karate master that spread or marketed karate, on his deathbed, he said, now I have learned how to punch. On his deathbed. And then the idea behind that was, it was much more philosophical than that, is because during his teachings from the very beginning, he said, like, you are always learning karate. Even if you get the black belt and you reach the highest grade, you cannot not, it's a double negative. You can only learn until your last breath, right? If you stop, if you just say that I've learned everything, if you say I'm a master, then you've got way more space to go, because there is no perfection. Like you said, we're not perfect, right? I like to call humans to be perfectly imperfect, because as perfect as we are as a creation, whether it's creation of it or evolution, whatever you want to call it, we are imperfect in everything. Our decisions are imperfect. Our rationality, our logic, our feelings, our emotions, they're never perfect. There's always adjustment to be made, right? And this is why we are here, why we help people, why we decided to go into the self-development and helping people, is because we know ourselves to be imperfect. We know that we have our flaws. This is why we have several coaches, whether it's business, whether it's mentors, whether it's personal life, like personal coaches. And we have them because we understand that we are imperfect. We understand our failures, to come back to the failures and the success, right? And since we understand them, we want to succeed in having better results. And so we analyze and we dissect and analyze each of these decisions, each of these behaviors that we've had in the past, so that we can learn from them, so that we can change and see what is applicable for us in the near future, in the future that we want to create for ourselves, for our families. We do that only by looking into our, between quotations, failures. Only in looking into our past events and how we've made these decisions. Today I was talking with my mentor about, several of us, we were talking about decision strategies. Decision strategies is a whole module in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And our strategies are not only for big decisions in our life, but they are about everything. They are about how you're waking up in the morning. They are about how you're going to have your coffee, how you're going to wash yourself, if you're going to take a shower or a bath, when you shower, how you shower, the amount of shampoo or soap you put, brushing your teeth, having your coffee, having your breakfast. All of these are decisions that we make. And there is a strategy for each and every single decision. Even our behaviors, they have a strategy behind it. For instance, a person that yells at their kids, that person has a strategy. He wants, for instance, to be heard by their kids. The kids don't listen. So his strategy, I raise my voice, they will hear me, right? They will know I'm angry, they will listen, right? Whatever the decision is, that is their strategy. That strategy is based on the failures of the past. Now, if you don't change your behavior, if you don't change your attitude, if you don't change the outcome that you want, well, there's no point looking into your failures because it's not going to change, right? To change that behavior, to have growth within you, to succeed in your behaviors, in your rationality, in your decisions, one must, and I use the word must, which I rarely use, one must look into how you've done it before, what caused you to fail at it at that time, and what can be improved upon. That's the only way you can improve on yourself. And we are talking about succeeding as a person, succeeding in life, not just having millions and being a millionaire and having that fancy car that you've always dreamt of. That doesn't matter. This is all materialistic. That can come and that comes and goes. You're born naked, you die naked. You're born alone and you die alone. What you do in between is how you can measure your own success. And nobody else in the world can measure it for yourself. That's also an issue, right? Because people, they believe that success can be measured through the eyes of others. Success is exactly like beauty. You know that saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder? Success is the same thing. You can see somebody successful in their business life. You don't know what it took them to reach it. It's lots of failures, lots of hurdles, it's lots of stumbling points and doors being shut in their faces, and just a window opening just a tad bit for them to breathe some air, surviving for several years. That's success for them? For them, it is meaningless because perhaps they can't have children. Perhaps their health is not well. Perhaps they don't have their parents with them to enjoy that with them. So success as beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I believe.
Thank you so much, Kamal. I know you hate me agreeing with you, but I like it when you say success. Basically, you talk about stumbling blocks in your life. There's been so many, like myself, to see myself where I am today. There's been so many stumbling blocks in my life, even leaving home, wanting to come to United Kingdom. There were stumbling blocks that I had to face, me wanting to come here, but I never gave up. I kept pushing. The only thing that I don't do is when I'm going through failure, I have to find one person that is strong, that I know is gonna keep pushing me and keep pushing me, and stay away from those who are scared of me, because even myself, I'm scared, but I try not to act on that fear. So I try not to tell my family what I'm doing. Even Martin, I don't tell him what I'm doing if I'm really, really scared, because I know they're gonna be like, oh my goodness. They're gonna be really, really, really scared for me and scare me off completely. I remember there was a guy, one of my friends had big problems where he couldn't transfer his money to his account. So he calls me and he goes, no, sir, I know where you are. I'm away. Where you are, you have a strong internet. So I'm gonna have to trust you now. I give you my logins. You transfer the money from my bank account to another bank account, to another his bank account, or you can transfer it to yours, or whatever. He was like, whatever you do, as long as I get the money to me, so I can use this card. So the money was in his high savings account. So and then I spoke to Martin, and I was like, no, that does not sound good. Everyone is like, my father-in-law was here. I'm already in the UK. They are in other countries. And while they're busy talking, and I was like, shush, while they're busy talking, I was busy doing the transfer and transferred the money. And while they're still busy talking, discussing about it, I'm online and send them a text and say, the money's gone in, have you seen it? And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. I'm gonna go and buy food. The guy had millions and millions in his bank account to come out, because where he was, the signal was really, really bad. So he was like, to tell you the truth, I cannot ask my family to go into my bank account, because the moment I mix business with a family, I'm looking to fight somebody. So I had to trust you, and I had to believe that as my friend that I've known you for a long time, that you're gonna do what's right for me. So what he said, what I would do is when you finish, I'll just change my logins. So I'll change my logins on my return before, not now, because you know my logins. I was like, that's fine. And they're busy talking. I'm actually telling him the money's gone through. Oh my God, they are busy talking, discussing that. What if it's fraud? What if it's this? And I was like, shush, guys, I've transferred the money, it's gone. So sometimes what I do is I don't tell my family if it's something that I'm scared myself. I just have to find one champion, one friend, or a coach, and say, this is what I'm doing. What do you think? And then I go for it. And then I just go and do it. And when I tell my family, that means I'm celebrating. I'll start by, I want to do this. What do you guys think? By the time they're like, oh, wait on, I'm like, actually, I've got the results. Positive results. They're like, oh, we trust you. We believe in you. I'm like, no, you didn't. You don't. So basically, to succeed, I agree with you. You have to have an open mind and the inner desire to learn, and inner desire to actually embrace your mistakes and embrace your qualities, even if that fear is there, but then staying focused and having that mind of your why, the big mind of why, I think is very, very important. And a positive attitude as well is very, very important when you want to succeed in life, and knowing that it doesn't matter when you fail, it doesn't matter, but as long you take that action and just do it. So I can sit here and say, oh, I make a decision beautifully. No, I don't. Sometimes I receive phone calls and somebody says, no, sir, this is what is going on with the business. Would you like to be in it? And I'm like, 1 second, I'm like, yes. And when they finish, I just have to say, God, let it be the right decision, what I've just done. And if it comes back, it's the good news. it's fine, it's beautiful. I can celebrate, even if it's bad news. I still celebrate me making that decision, because not many people can make those kind of decisions.
That's very true, and thank you for that last bit, because it actually answers one of the questions that we got. Somebody, Ahmed in Nahas, he's asking, how can I get myself out of failure and turn it into success, like psychologically? Now, you explained a portion of it, and I love that. Thank you for that, Numsa. The other portion, as we have been saying from the very beginning, whatever you see as failure is not. It is not. It is an attempt in learning. It is your first time doing something that you, or even your second or your third. Remember the story of Edison. He when he was interviewed about failing 1,000 times to be able to do the light bulb, he said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I just got 1,000 different outcomes that I didn't want at this time. It's how you see that failure. A simple example. A lot of people that get married and divorced, they say, I've had a failed marriage. I used to have that idea. I used to say that for the first 8 months, something like that, maybe 9 months. You know what? Make it a year, just so that it's rounded up. So for a whole year, I used to say this was a failed marriage. The moment I decided to shift my mind and say, you know what? It wasn't a failed marriage. It was a successful divorce. It was an outcome that provided me with two beautiful gifts, my children, and therefore that marriage was successful in that aspect. After that, the divorce was successful because it got me out of my shell. It got me out of an unwanted situation, an unwanted relationship. And so that failed marriage was actually a successful divorce. It was a successful outcome for having children. It was successful for making me who I am today. It is successful for understanding people differently and seeing them in a different light. So the moment you decide to change your perspective on failure and understanding what you might have learned, your mind will shift instantly, and you will understand how you have succeeded and what it has caused you to succeed in. Remember, every single thing in life happens for a reason. Whether you know it or not, it is for a reason, and it is most probably for a benefit, either for you, for somebody you know, or a third person. It doesn't matter. What is happening to you has a ripple effect. Take work. You go to a job interview, you succeed, you pass your probation period for 3 or 6 months, whatever it is in whichever country. You start working for that company for a year or 2, maybe 5 years. Suddenly something happens, you get fired. Out of your hands, you get fired for no reason. Let's say they're downsizing, whatever, you get fired. Has that been an unsuccessful or a failed job? No. You've worked for 5 years. Did you perhaps deliver something wrong and failed at delivering your job and so you got fired? No. You just didn't do the job. You didn't fail. You just did not do it. And so there's a learning point that, well, maybe you should have done something else. Maybe you could have done something else. Maybe there were different possibilities. Maybe there were already signs that this job was going to be lost and you didn't take the time to look for something new. All right, so that's done. You're fired. You don't have a job. On welfare, using your savings. What are you going to do? What new do you want in your life? Maybe that job was not satisfying enough for you. Maybe it wasn't fulfilling a purpose in your life. Maybe you were just working there from 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 just to earn your bread. Have you considered that maybe you got fired because you have to start following your dreams, not other people's dreams? What if being fired causes you to live a life to live a more successful, more satisfying, forget successful, a more satisfying life? A life where whatever job you may have, you go there every day in the morning with a beautiful smile. You enjoy every second of what you're doing. That's impossible, just so you know. Whatever job it is almost impossible to, I don't like, impossible is like denying completely, but there's a very high probability of the impossibility of not liking every single moment of whatever you do, unless you are really, really living a purposeful life. But even living a purposeful life, even doing the job that you've always dreamt of doing, there are some times where you tell yourself, oh my God, I hate doing that. Or I dislike doing that. Forget about hate, because that's very strong, like my son says. It gets to your nerves. No matter what it is, sometimes you just say, I can't do this anymore, even though you love it. But then you come the next day with a massive smile and you start rolling up your sleeves and you do whatever you want to do, you like doing and enjoy doing, because this is part of your life. Now, maybe it doesn't even bring you a lot of money. Maybe it just covers your expenses of paying the bills and getting a little bit of food here and getting a little bit of clothes for your kids if you have any. And at the end of the month, you're left with maybe, I don't know, whatever it is, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, something ridiculous. But so what? Are you satisfied? Are you content? That is much more important. That is much more successful than anything else. You need to remember that these failures that you are going through life, these bumps, these learning experience, you need to change that idea that it's a failure. It is not a failure. It is you attempting to do something. You got the result that you didn't want. So change your perspective on things. Remember this, our perspective makes things good or bad. Our perspective makes things negative or positive. Our perspective decides to shift in a very nice analog way. Instead of having yes and no, you can move from the yes to the no very slightly, or move from the no to the yes very slightly. And you can have a combination. Having a combination of attempts at something in life, where you stumble and you get up again, stumble and get up again, stumble and get up, and once you get up, ooh, you got the third place. Well, that's a success. I'm saying third place just so people understand that you've succeeded at something. Even like getting into a competition where there are 10 contestants and you're number 9, you still succeeded at running that thing. You still succeeded at reaching 9th place instead of 10th place. Yes, you might not be satisfied with the result. Then you go back to the beginning. The decisions that you've made. Have you worked hard enough? Have you practiced hard enough? Have you understood well enough what you needed to do to be done? And then you attempt again and again and again until you reach a satisfying level that you know you can accept, that you know you are not capable of achieving more. Because let's face it, let's go into sports, right? There are some people that are gifted in the field of sports when it comes to their muscles, their breathing capabilities, and all of that, right? Some people will manage to, let's take racing, to do 100-meter like Bolt, right? He's gifted in that thing, in that field. What about the other contestants? Are they not gifted? Yes, they are. But they reach their maximum, and their maximum is as much as they would go. Even with training, even with muscle working, lots and lots and lots of things. That's their maximum. But they have accepted that. Even though accepting that doesn't mean that they don't go and compete again. Right? Now we're talking sports metaphors here and competition. Talk about life. You make plans. The plans crumble. You make different plans. the plan crumbles again. But why don't you stop then with your plans and give up? Oh, because I want to do this and I want to do that. Well, if you have that mentality with everything that you do in life, you'll be successful at anything you do, even if you fail. So I hope that answers your question, Ahmed. And please feel free to ask again and whatever.
That is amazing, Kamal, because you know when you say you have to have a mentality of wanting to succeed, you have to be hungry, whatever you want to do in life. In order to succeed in life, you have to be hungry for it. It doesn't matter whatever you are doing. Like when I used to play football, when I meet people before we go on the pitch, the opposite team, I'll be friendly, but I don't expect me to be the same attitude when I go on. I will be completely different. I'm not laughing. When I'm there, you are my enemy. I've practiced all day, all week. So when I'm playing, when I'm watching, when I'm watching, I'm on that team. You opposite team. So you met me before we went on the pitch. I'm smiling. Hi, Nomsa. Yes, good to see you. I'm smiling and I mean it. Every word that I mean it, the feelings are real. But when I get on that pitch, you don't know me. I belong to another side.
Right, it's war. It's war.
Yes, so that is the attitude that I have, that I want this. I really, really want this for my team. So I'm sorry, we know each other when we are out, and I could see that the other team, they have that attitude as well, because that is the attitude of winning. That yes, although we know each other, but here we are battling against each other and there is no time to play. And that is the mindset of you need to have whatever you do in life. I remember when I went to Tech Music School, I would turn up, because we had to perform every week. So we perform every week. Because me, I have a sports mind, I would just memorize every word. And my music teacher, she goes, I don't understand. Why are you not reading the words? I'm like, that's not how I've been told. So if I'm coming here and I'm getting on stage and I'm singing and I'm looking at the lyrics, it does not make sense. And I'm like, if my football coach was here, he would just tell me to get out of the stage and go and do something better. So I was like, or even my grandfather, and I was like, no, I don't read the lyrics. I have to practice them. And she was like, I like your attitude. You have this attitude of learning. I was like, this is what I do. If I want something or if I'm doing something, I have to put my 100% in it. Even in a relationship, that's what I do. I put my 100%. And that the other person, he has to understand that I might make mistakes in the process. I'm not perfect. And I have to understand that my opposite person, they are not perfect either. And that's how I work. That's how I deal with my failure, is being able to embrace it and face it. Like what you're saying, I can practice the whole day and not getting the results that I want. It doesn't mean that I failed. It means that day I had a bad day that day, and then I have to come back and wanting more and more and more, and get rid of distraction as well, because the failure, it can tend to be a distraction. And you know what I do with my family? I tell them how much I failed. But when I tell my family how much I failed, the things that I've tried, the mistakes that I've made, it's not that I want them to feel sorry for me. I want them to actually look back and say, if Nomsa have tried this and she's failed, but she never gave up, she kept going, that means I can do it. I can do it. I can do this. I remember with my immigration, I kept renewing my visa, and I was paying £3,000 and £4,000 to renew my visa. And I was like, what the hell is this? And then I remember one day I ringing the immigration office, and I was like, can you tell me more about how the immigration works and stuff? And he explained to me, this is what, because lawyers, they're never going to tell you what you need to do because they want you to pay them. So, and then the guy, he was like, okay, I'm going to explain it to you. Going to have to take some notes. So I told him my case, my situation being in the UK. So he told me everything. This is what you need to do when you apply. This is what your solicitor needs to do and stuff. So I was like, okay, thank you very much. When I finished with him, I was like, I'm not going to tell my solicitor. Let me write it. Let me write a letter. I wrote a letter to the immigration. I decided to represent me applying for indefinite leave to stay in the United Kingdom. And I put the points, this is why, this is why, this is why. I went to every law and pointing and referencing everything and being kind as well. And in the end, I said, I will appreciate very much if you can get back to me direct. So after 3 months, they replied to me, but they didn't reply to me saying yes. They gave me papers, and they gave me papers, and they sent a copy to my solicitor, and they sent another copy to me because I actually put the amount of money, the receipt that I've been paying, and I was like, it does not make sense that I contribute in this country, and I still have to renew my visa, and I still have to pay this money. But if I looked at it as a failure, but I looked at it as actually, I can actually challenge these people. I can actually be a lawyer for myself by asking people who have done it, who are in the industry. Then I decided to make a phone call and ask the immigration themselves. And the guy gave me some information, and he was like, you want to represent yourself? Sit down, I'll tell you what to do.
And that's amazing, because you pinpointed a very important factor in changing that mentality and that mindset of failure to success. And you said about 3 or 4 minutes ago, learning all the time, learning from experiences, learning from moments, learning from watching people, learning by reading.
Yeah.
Learning is the key to shifting that mindset of failure to success. You decided to learn about the laws, about why you're paying that amount, about how you can stay in the country, about all of that. The result, you stayed in the country, you got your papers. Why? Because you decided to change that mentality of like giving it away, or the mentality of like, oh my God, I'm paying all of that and I'm failing and I'm going to get kicked out. You see, that mentality is defeatist, right? You've defeated yourself already. But instead of being defeated, you said, no, I'm standing my ground. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to read. I'm going to look at people. I'm going to ask around. You continuously learned until you got the result that you wanted. That's what we were talking about. You've attempted different situations. They all led to results you didn't want, being not staying, not getting your papers. Once you changed your strategy, once you shifted your mind, once you said like, I have to learn from what I've done before, I've had it, everything happened. What a miracle. It's almost as if you had like the Aladdin's lamp and you wish like, my wish is to have my papers. But you didn't wish for that. You wished to have your papers, but you wanted to learn.
And I was scared as well to
confront
them. Yeah, of course.
Of course, because it's either you do one step, you take 1 inch to the left wrong, you're like, bye-bye.
Like, get out.
But again, you see, that's the concept of learning constantly and consistently of what you have done and what you want to do. Make 1 million failures, it doesn't matter. Get up again, thrive again, try again, and not try. Do it again, and you will have some success even if it's minuscule, even if it starts bit by bit, slowly, and all that slowly, bit by bit, all these trickles of rain and raindrops, they gather and they make a mud puddle. And after they gather and make a mud puddle, they make a lake. And that lake feeds and gives water to millions of people. Now imagine this is just you. This is water, right? We're talking nature here. These are the same things with your thoughts, with your attitude towards what you have done and how you want to change it.
I think you will run out of time, Kamal. It's 3 minutes past 2. We've been talking.
I think this was enjoyable. For me, at least, I've loved it. And
me too. I've just enjoyed it. I think it was amazing because it shows that we're human and we just basically, we're just having fun. And
absolutely.
Yeah. Just you have to find, like myself, I have speakers here. There are Gossip Talk Show. There are more than 20 speakers, but I actually have speakers that everyone comes on. I'm learning because I ask questions. I write notes. I'm learning, and when we finish here, I use that for my own personal life, for my own business as well.
Absolutely. That's the thing. The key is learning. I'll just leave one last message to the audience. A quote from Henry Ford. Failure is only the opportunity, more intelligently, to begin again. So begin anew. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those who are watching. We are here Monday to Friday at Ngozi Talk Show, UK time. So please, if you are watching this video or later or now, if you love the message, press some heart button and share with your friends. And remember, enjoy that failure. When you fail, find the right people, learn from those people who are successful, find somebody that inspires you and learn from them, because the journey of success is you knowing who you are. When you fail, you get to know yourself. I'm a relationship coach. There are some things that I learned sometimes in my relationship about myself. People think when you're a relationship coach, you know it all, but you don't. You grow every day, and sometimes you learn from people that are in relationships. For me, what I do is, if I meet anyone who tells me I've been married for 16 years, I've been married for 30 years, they better expect an interview from me. I just give them interview without them knowing. I want to know what's the secret behind that relationship. So if someone comes to me and says, I've been married for 50 years, they're going to be bombarded by questions, playful questions, and they don't realize that I'm learning from them. So we learn from each other. We actually, if things don't go your way, don't stay down. Just get up. Don't feel sorry for you. Talk about your story, but don't feel sorry for yourself. Just get up and keep going. That's what life is about. I can tell you, the smile that you see, I do laughing yoga to keep smiling. I do running to keep my mind working. There are times where sometimes I finish running, you'll find me dancing outside my house. That is, you think that, why is she dancing? It's me, confidence. Someone passing, I don't care. I'm boosting my confidence by doing things that people don't do. So you can have that attitude, you go further in life. Live with grace, everyone. We shall see you tomorrow.
Welcome to Ngozi Talk Shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled within.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
Find your own voice. See you later, everyone.